So this is the third call of 2016. 2016 is starting off really well. I'm seeing some major unity in the team. I'm seeing people dreaming big, going after what they deserve and working together. And so a few announcements before we have our guest on is the Team Cup is starting. I was speaking on a 7-star mastermind call today with corporate, with other fellow 7-stars in our region. And one thing that we were talking about is that there's so many things that most of us have been in the business for years, and they're non-negotiables. And I sometimes forget to really make put emphasis on it for the team, because it's just something that I do, and I just expect everybody else to jump on and do as well. So if I apologize. I want to go back and just really encourage all of you to join the Team Cup. This is something that I have done every time there's been a cup challenge since I've been a coach. It's non-negotiable. It helps grow your business. And more than anything, one thing that I talk about is about the team that I've assembled, which are all new coaches. And this is one thing that if you're a coach, I really encourage you to work with your new coaches. And really, I shared a post a couple of months ago when I came back from leadership, whenever the team that I worked with at leadership at a team building event, we took first place. And it was a lot along the lines of the video that I shared today from ET about having the winning mentality. And that is what I want you to all remember in going into the cup and encouraging people on your team to partner up with you or to join a team from within our team or even outside of our team. But this is great. We have all these prizes, and for me, prizes have just become something that are standard for me, so I don't put an emphasis on it, but I do remember the first time I got a keychain from the Hitting Success Club or the cup or something like that. So I just, it's a gift. I don't even look anymore at what the prizes are because my motivation isn't that. But if you're a new coach, I put myself back to where you were. The prizes were huge motivation. It was just symbolize your hard work. And so I'm sorry for downplaying that and maybe not making it as exciting, but because I do remember that keychain, and I remember so mad at Ryan. He kept taking it off of my key every time he would drive my car, and I still have it even though it broke. But there's some great prizes, so I want you to take a look at that, and that's motivation. But the thing is, I hear it all the time from coaches that, I don't want to hold you back, I don't want to let anybody down. And the thing,
you seen this one?
all the time. You have two routes with any main goals. You can use something to motivate you or use something to hold you back. I look at it as this is something to motivate you. This is incentive. And for me, I to the coaches that have partnered up with me on my team that I assembled for the February Cup is that this is fun. I don't want this to be something that's taxing or stressful to you. I want this to be exciting for you. I want you to learn to work together as a team, and that we're all going to work together. That way we basically can have fun and learn each other's best practices and share, and that this isn't something stressful. Go in with the winning mentality, because if you win, you get great prizes. If not, at least you won the friendship and the learning experience, and that you're showing up every day to do the things that successful coaches do, because there's a lot of coaches out there who do not participate in these things. There's lots of coaches who do not attend events, and these are things that are non-negotiable. And if you talk to any successful coach, these are non-negotiable. So I want you to really take a look at where your head is, and if you want to build this business, get on a cup team and go in it with the intention that this is going to be fun and you're going to learn. And one thing that I've been telling all my new coaches is you're never going to learn it all, but you're going to learn as you go, and you're still going to learn way more than anybody who's not a coach. And lastly, if you have had any frustrations this morning, which is great, I really think that I keep it squashed in our team. I try to keep it positive. I haven't seen anything, but I know I've seen it outside of teams. And I heard a lot about it on the mastermind call I did with corporate and other 7-stars today, that people were freaking the F out over the whole cruise situation. Listen, there's 400,000 coaches. As you know, even the largest cruise ship it doesn't have the capacity to hold us all. If for some reason you weren't one of the lucky 3,000 coaches that were able to register today, I'm sorry. So this can be motivation, because I know Melissa Bardo said, I'm going to fucking be a 2016 elite coach so I can be on there. So use that as your motivation. Get on the wait list. Don't say, oh, I'll never get off. Get on the wait list. Get on the wait list right now, because trust me, unfortunately, there's going to be coaches who things come up. They don't take the business seriously, blah, 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 blah. Get on the wait list. Get up to these events. These events grow your business. So anyways, speaking of grow your business, we have Ruth Shrauner on. I didn't even know this lady existed because we have 400,000 coaches in our organization. But I had the chance of meeting this fabulous woman in North Carolina. We served on like a little panel. We did this thing before Super Saturday where these coaches were able to do a VIP question and answer, and she was awesome. And I'll tell you, if you were on the call last week with Trey, I'm gonna tell you Ruth is the exact opposite from Trey. But we that's what I love, is there's such diversity in our organization, in our team, and that's why I have different speakers, because there's going to be things that speak to you. But one thing I want you to know is whenever you get on these calls, that most of these coaches all have one thing in common. They're doing the 3 vital behaviors. But I wanted Ruth to get on this call with you because we have a lot of new coaches here. And I know that as we go on and the people who've watched me or seen other people in our team, it can seem like where you're at right now to the big goal is something you'll never get to and you can't do it. But Ruth is like a shining star. She has a totally different story, different why than myself. And so I wanted to share with her. She ended this year, not this year, we're in 2015 as the 20th team within the organization. And, I'm going to have her share a story and some of the things that she did, because the thing is, I have seen in the last 2 years, because of the systems that are shared and they have been developed and the people, the support that people have that coaches like me didn't have back in 2012 or 10 or 11. But I've seen coaches start the year off as just a coach. No sponsored coaches, and end at 2-star, 3-star, 4-star, 5-star elite. And so it can happen. And I want you, when you're listening to these calls, not sit there and think, God, Ruth is so awesome. She's so motivating, but I'll never get there. I want you to say, Ruth is freaking an awesome rock star. And what can I learn from her and apply immediately and personalize to make this happen for me? So I'm going to unmute her, and there you go.
Hi. When you said you had Trey on, does he say shit all the time on his Facebook? I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was about to start saying it because he was like, wow, Mindy, a whore can do it. She's successful and she's a girl. And I say that all the time. I'm going to start doing it. And he said that I took his Facebook from a G-rated to a fuck yeah. So sorry.
Yes. He just got on my radar because we're going to New Leader Conference tomorrow. And so he said something in there, and I was looking at his Facebook and cracking up. So that's really cool. Very cool. I will tell him hi tomorrow. So, hey guys, I am honored to be here. Like, this is crazy for me. Thank you, Mindy, for allowing me to speak. It's just, for me, it's surreal because I'm like, why do you want me to talk? So I have some objectives for you guys this evening, kind of what I want you to take from this evening and where I want you to go with this. So first off, I'm going to talk a little bit about myself, which is super awkward, by the way, but I need you to understand some things about me. And I need you to know that I'm not special. There's nothing special about me. Do not put me on a pedestal. Do not do any of these things. The only thing that you need to know about me is I'm exactly like you, and you are capable of building this business the same way. The second thing that I'm going to talk about is self-belief. This has been a driving factor in my business since, I would say, last February. And I'll talk about how I came to that conclusion and kind of some things that gave me momentum. And the last thing, there's going to be a little reality check at the end of this. I want you to really evaluate your business and what you are doing in your business. Because I think a lot of the times coaches maybe are going through the motions, but they're not putting the heart into it and the commitment. So I'm going to force you to look at your business and really evaluate what you're doing and look at things that you can change and better to grow your business over the next year. So to get going, I'm going to kind of give you like my rundown. This is where it's super awkward. But I'm going to start with my accolades, okay? So as Mindy said, last January, I was a diamond coach. I started last year as a diamond coach. I ended 2015 top 20 elite coach, 7-star diamond. I'll go 8 qualifying on Thursday. I advanced 11 coaches to diamond in 2015. Success Club 10 All-Star, Success Club 5 All-Star in my husband's business center, Success Club 40 usually per month between the two of them. 1 year into coaching, which would have been July for me, I cleared $15,000 in that month, and I was like, holy crap, this is real life. It was a mind-blowing month. And in 2015, I cleared $125,000 in this business. I'm not telling you that because money is everything and money is the driving factor. I'm telling you that because before all of this, I was broke as a joke, living paycheck to paycheck, stressing about money. And if you are in that situation, you do not have to live that life. You have the opportunity to change it. And your mentors, Mindy, I know that they're doing the things and showing you how to do that. Take it and use it, because I want you guys, if you're living the life I was before Beachbody, you don't have to live in that stress. I want you to experience what this business can bring to you from every side of it. So there's all that stuff, but here's what I need you to know about me. My profile picture, glamour shot, woohoo, great. That's not who I am. Don't look at that and think that is who this girl is. Yes, I love getting girly and dolled up, but I think those profile pictures we see of every elite coach, it gives us this false persona of who they are. I am just like you. I get really grumpy in the mornings. I'm not fun to be around. I don't clean. My spray tannist asked me if I use bleach today to clean, and I looked at her like, I don't clean, lady. Like, you should see my kitchen, okay? So I'm very human. So don't look at that little profile picture and put me on any type of pedestal, and don't take those accolades I just gave you and put me on any pedestal. I still question myself on a daily basis. I still wonder if I'm doing it right. I still look at my team of leaders and I say to them, you guys, I don't have all the answers. And that is okay. As long as you are working to get better, that is okay. You do not need all the answers to build this business. You don't need all the answers to start this business. Somehow you got on this call. Somehow you clicked sign up to be a coach. So you know enough to do that for the next person. I'm from a small town, about 500 people. I graduated with 32 people in my high school class. Neither of my parents went to college. After college, I decided to become a teacher because I didn't believe I was capable of anything else. So if you are hearing this confident girl on this call, you need to know I was not always this person, and I've grown so much in the last 18 months because of this business. So I became a teacher. I was super broke. Then I got my master's degree because I was super broke, and I thought my only option was getting my master's degree. So I went back and I did that. You should also know I didn't think I was smart enough to get my master's degree. I didn't think it was something I was capable of accomplishing. No one I knew had a master's degree. So how would I be able to do that? And I tell you that because our limiting beliefs and what we believe we are capable of will control you in this business until you overcome them. And we'll talk about how to overcome those in just a little bit. So when I started coaching, my biggest fears were social media. I was almost non-existent on Facebook, and I didn't know how to use Instagram. 18 months ago, I had like 20 Instagram posts, and it was all of like my dogs. So I hear this from new coaches all the time. I'm scared of putting myself on social media. Oh my gosh, I was too. And still to this day, I think in February, I overcame a big hump with social media. But it's one of those things, we all start in that very uncomfortable place. My other biggest fear were my sorority sisters. In college, I was in a sorority, and my biggest fear was judgment from other girls. Friends, I will tell you, I was terrified of what they would think of me for doing this business. They've also been my biggest support system. They took everything I thought, and they really showed me it was me and my insecurities, and it wasn't them. Talk about that in a little bit more detail too. 1 week after I announced on social media I was coaching was 4th of July. That 4th of July, I ended up crying in a bathroom because my friend was making fun of my decision to coach, tearing apart Insanity Max 30, tearing apart P90X. That day could have been a defining day in my life. We all have days that can define us, and you get to choose which way you go. I didn't have a reason to stay a coach at this time. I had no success. I only had sold a challenge pack to my mom and my sister and Ben, 3 people who are family members, and I pretty much made them sign up. And now I'm crying in the bathroom on the 4th of July because someone's making fun of my decision. A friend is making fun of my decision. That could have stopped me right there. My life would still be stuck, and the lives of people I've encountered in the last 18 months, they would not be where they're at today either. Do not let people's doubts stop you from going after your dreams. My brother told me it was a gimmick. And I'm telling you all this just so you know, I didn't like walk into Beachbody like, hey, top 20 in the house. Like, that's not what happened. I went through everything a new coach goes through, but I chose to keep going anyways. And I'm so happy I did. The first person I ever talked to, chatted to, 2 hours on Facebook. I was so stoked. And then she's like, oh, I just got on Amazon. Oh, I was like, you're joking me, right? Amazon. My challenge groups were dead silent for 6 months. I was like, does anyone hear me? Does anyone care? Am I making any bit of difference? I was attacked in my homeowners association on a public forum about Beachbody and snake oil. All of these things have happened to me. I am not special. I am not talented, but I am determined and I'm committed and I believe in this business and I believe in the change that we can have in other people's lives. And here is how I got there. Self-belief. Let's talk about it because it's huge and it's going to take you from where you're at now to having the business life of your dreams. I believe this to be one of the biggest things. I did not come into Beachbody with this belief that I was going to, blow up or anything like that. My goal was after 2 years to make $50,000 a month or a year. $50,000 a year after working this business for 2 years. That was my goal. I said I would try and I would fail. 2 years, never sell a challenge pack, but this was my best option in life to not be broke anymore, to stop fighting with my husband about money. So I also came in, and I don't know if you guys see this in your team page, but in my uplines team page, there's always this coaches change lives, or at the time, there was always this coaches change lives picture. Oh, I hated that picture. I was like, this is the stupidest thing I've ever seen. You guys are so full of crap. You're not changing anyone's life and you're just helping like people lose weight. Like this is not life changing. That's what I thought. That's what I thought for first solid month of coaching. But I was broke as a joke. So my motivation honestly was to sell a challenge pack. So next week I'd earn $50 in my bank account. So that $50 would show up. That was my motivation. So I didn't have this belief coming in, but action is the seed to belief. Action in this business will grow your belief. If you feel like I felt, or if you're sitting there wondering if you can grow this business, you will not gain that belief until you begin acting, until you put everything that Mindy has taught you into action. And even when you do that in the beginning, you're still going to be double guessing. You're going to be questioning everything you do. Am I making a difference? Does this matter? So I just started doing it. My coach said, run a challenge group. Okay, I'm running a 21-day fixed challenge group. I don't even know really how to run a challenge group, but I'm doing it. And here's what happened. In my first challenge group, which were my sorority sisters, I had like 7 of them sign up. I was super excited. I was also scared because I'm telling you, I had low self-esteem with these girls coming into this. And I thought, I was like the ugly duckling out of my sorority sisters. And I'm like, why do they want to be in my group? I realized it was just me and my insecurities. It was my insecurities. And I was really the cold shoulder pushing them out of my life for all these years. And when I began acting, when I began putting these practices into my daily life, that's when everything changed. In August, I got a phone call at 7 a.m. on a Saturday. So I just turned 30. So at the time, my girlfriends were like 28. And I get this call from one of my sorority sisters. I didn't even know she had my phone number still. She had been in my challenge group. She called me up and 7 a.m. I'm like, oh crap. Like, did her Shakeology ship? And she didn't know. And she's mad at me. Like, what did I do wrong? And I answered. And all she said to me was, I needed to call you. I just finished my 3 weeks on 21-day fix. And I just needed to call you and tell you thank you. Because this group and what you've done as a coach has changed my life. And I was like, what? Where's that sticker? Bam! Facebook! Eat it! But that was a monumental moment for me because she sat there and she told me how she's battled with her body image and her eating and not eating for years. And now she felt sexy, and that played into her job, her relationship, every part of her being. was enhanced because of something I introduced her to. And when I say action is the seed of belief, that's what I mean. I wouldn't know that that little quote, coaches change lives, is true had I never took action. And you can't either until you invest in this, until you go into it. And I did pour my heart into that first challenge group. I was attentive. I did care about my challengers. And that was the end result. So I encourage you to act. That is one way that your belief is going to grow. Personal development is huge. Huge, 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 huge. But until you act upon the personal development that you're hearing, or you act upon the team calls that you hear, none of it's really going to surface and become apparent in your life. It's just going to be there until you use it, and you have to use it. Something else I will say about this is last year, January, actually, it was last weekend in February, I went down, I met my coach for the first time, Shaun T live workout weekend in Florida. On the way back, I listened to You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero. That book totally changed my life. Make Success Club this month just to hear that woman. Super excited. But while I was reading that book, before this, I had talked to my upline about my goals for 2015. And I am a dreamer. I'll be the first person to say that. I am a dreamer. So I was talking to her about, like, should I go for like top 10, top 20? Should we make a run for this? And I was like, nah, I don't want to. I just want to sit back and just enjoy this, like build my business. I don't want any of that stuff. And I believed it. And during the way back from Florida, I listened to this entire book, and it discussed your limiting beliefs and the lies that you're going to tell yourself. And this is what mine sounded like. It sounded like, I don't want to stress out about points or elite or being top 10 or 20. Who really cares about that anyway? You can still build an income, which is true. You can still build an income without any of that, without those things. But when I listened to her book, I was like, oh, I'm really lying to myself, because I do know the way I'm wired and I'm geared. And I knew that those were lies. And so yours might sound different. Like, well, I don't have time because I have to go to yoga, or I have to babysit, or whatever you have to do. Wake up 30 minutes early. I have seen my coaches. I mean, I've seen it all. And Mindy, I'm sure, has seen it all as well. Like, there is no excuse. Time, kids, jobs, none of it. That's your limiting beliefs. Procrastination, I believe, is the biggest limiting belief. That's how it kind of surfaces, is procrastination, getting it perfect. Screw perfect, just do it. Learn as you go. Just act, because that will feed your belief. Okay. So the last thing, hopefully I can give you some applicable things to use here. So I'm going to ask you to think about your business and your social media and everything that you do in this business, kind of around the 3 vital behaviors. The first thing I'm going to say is that if you want a successful business, you have to act like a successful coach. So I remember last year, I watched Melanie Mitro's video about coach getting started right calls. It was in an Emerald to Diamond group, and I watched it, and I was sitting there thinking, well, I can't do that. Like, she's a top coach. I can't do that. But then I had this aha moment, and I'm like, wait, everything she's describing is actually exactly what I did when I started this business. I contacted my mom and my sister, and I said, hey, will you do this? I'm coaching. And if you're going to do it, will you sign up as a coach under me? And then you can quit in 30 days if you want to. I did exactly what she was saying. I'm like, wait, why am I not doing this? If you want to be successful, you have to act successful. Melanie did not become the #1 coach and then start doing these trainings. She did these trainings, she applied these systems, and then she became the top coach. Beachbody's laid everything out for us. It just takes doing. So really evaluate your behaviors in your business. So the first thing I'm going to ask you to evaluate is, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best on all of these, personal development. Are you doing it daily? And are you letting it seep into your soul and become part of you and using it? Here's some good maybe things to look for to know if you're a 1 or a 10. You might be on the 1 scale if you are blaming, if you are complaining, if you are whining, if you're saying no one wants to buy a challenge pack. You might be on the 1 scale of that 1 to 10. That's a good indicator that you need more personal development. The proof of being a 10 is it kind of seeping into your social media. Because when I started doing personal development, I was like, whoo, I got to tell everyone about this. This is life-changing. Like, why doesn't everyone read this book? Like, it became part of who I was. And it was so good, I wanted everyone to know about it. 1 to 10, if it's not seeping into your social media and what you're posting about and into your team, if you're not leading your team with it, maybe you haven't found the right book or the right call to listen to, but you need to find something that resonates with you and becomes a driving force for you. The next, product of the product. Oh my gosh, we hear this all the time, and I kind of think it's so underutilized. Man, product of the product. This does not mean you're just taking your Shakeology picture every day and putting it on Facebook, right? Oh, no. Are you being a product of the product, nutrition, Shakeology, if you do the performance line, our programs, and are you posting on social media? I can just speak for myself, and I know people have different opinions and they build their business differently. So I'm just going to share what's been successful for me, and you can take parts of it that you want. I have completed probably 4 programs since starting coaching, maybe more than that. Every time I'm sharing my progress photos, I don't have a big transformation anymore. Like, I'm pretty much, like I'm capping out. That's why I stopped drinking, stopped sweets this time. I'm like, I don't know where else to go with this. Like, what do I do? But I will tell you, people love to follow that. So if you have more weight to lose, congrats. That's kind of awesome. Like, you are a work in progress and people love it. They crave it and they want to see you be successful. So do it. It's all laid out. Share it on social media. If you have 100 pounds to lose, awesome. Kudos to you. Share it. It's going to be a huge business builder. If you don't have any weight to lose, guess what? Your body is still your canvas, because every program I do changes my body. It might be just slightly. Sometimes I post my pics and people are like, oh, I can see change. I'm like, really? Because I can't. What are you seeing? I'm like, okay. But they just crave it, right? They want to see this progress. So are you being a product of the product? But more importantly, are you sharing that on social media? And I do this religiously with progress photos. And I'm telling you, like, people just love it. It has put me on Instagram and on my business page. What it's done is it's made me this expert in Beachbody programs. So I get a lot of people who come to me who don't have a coach that just want my advice on, what program to get next, joining my groups. So your body is your canvas. My body is like my business. That's how I look at it. It's my job to get this baby in top shape, and I show it to the world, but you all can decide how you want to show it to the world. Like, I do sports bra pictures, but you do not have to. I tell my coaches that all the time. You do not have to do that. That is not a thing you have to do. Okay. And then last but not least, inviting. So I think this is where we all get hung up the most. And here, I am so passionate about this. It is one of the scariest things that we do as coaches, but it's one of the most powerful things that we do as coaches. That little coaches change lives. This is it. And this is where your belief starts, is by running challenge groups, by committing to them, by bringing coaches into this and committing to your coaches, to helping your coaches build businesses. Because I think it's super cool. I can help people lose weight and love themselves in my challenge groups. I think it's even cooler. I can help them do all that and build the life of their dreams. Here's what I want to say about inviting. People are like, oh, I'm so nervous to invite. Like, what if they just think I'm trying to sell them something? Like, what if they think I'm a salesperson? I don't know, like, if I can do this. Here's how I think of this, guys. Every time I send a message to invite, every time someone messages me, I get really excited. Because somewhere out there, there is a 35-year-old dad who is eating McDonald's every day. He drinks a huge soda. He's 100 pounds overweight. He gets off work, he comes home at 3:30, he has zero energy, and he cannot play with his kids. He sits in his recliner and he sends his kids to the neighbors. He doesn't even know his children anymore. Someone out there is waiting for you. Somewhere else, there's a 21-year-old girl who looks in the mirror at her 110-pound body and she hates what she sees. She's stopped eating to the point where she's starving, but then she cannot help it anymore, and she just binges on everything in sight, and she sits and she hates herself even more. Somewhere out there is a 40-year-old mom who doesn't have pictures with her kids because she refuses to take family photos because she's 30 pounds overweight. She stopped being intimate with her husband. She won't let him touch her, see her. Their relationship is crumbling. Somewhere else, there's a 50-year-old man who's laying in a hospital bed, and his 7-year-old daughter is watching him prepare for a triple bypass heart surgery. And he's telling her that he's going to wake up, and he's trying to be strong, and he's trying to be brave. That's what we get to help people overcome. Those are real stories of real people that I know. Those people need people like you. We really do get to change lives, but it takes us acting. It takes us inviting, following the 5-step invitation process. It takes us caring about these people, because all of these people that I've discussed, they are no longer in that same place. They are no longer that person because someone, as a coach, someone like you, has reached out to them and given them a second shot at their marriage or at their family or at loving themselves. That's what we offer as coaches. And that starts with inviting. That starts with sharing on social media about your challenge groups as coaching. There's a whole other side of that comes down to really the coaching business and what this business does for people in terms of personal development and growth. That's a whole other thing that we should be excited about inviting people to. I know for myself, 18 months ago, I was a 28-year-old wife, and the financial arguments with my husband were through the roof. I couldn't even think about having kids because I thought that was going to be the final straw. I thought that was it. Like, that was for sure going to be the divorce factor in our marriage. That is no longer an issue because of coaching. I'm really excited to have kids someday. Like, how cool is that? Because of this opportunity. And 18 months ago, that wasn't my life. So that is where I'm going to leave this call. I hope that was helpful to you. And I hope that you know that you are capable of building this business. I'm nothing special. You guys are all so capable of rocking this out in 2016.
Wow, that was amazing, amazing. Very well put out. You're a great teacher and speaker, so I'm sure that's why you've had such great success speaking to your team. You're very, clear and concise. I liked what you said about action is the seed of belief, because so many people are self-sabotagers, and I see this in challenge groups and in coaching. This program isn't going to work for me because nothing's ever worked, so I'm going to cut out the carbs, or I'm going to add extra cardio, or I'm going to do this. And they've already been able to ensure that what they said was right. They're not going to succeed, and they don't believe in it. And I believe fully in personal development because, like you said, and if you're on my team, I know there's mostly Team Relentless coaches, but there's other people outside of our team. But you're a Team Relentless coach. You'll see Shelly's post tonight about how she was attacked by a coworker today, and I know Shelly personally, and that before she dug deep into the personal development, it would have shattered her whole world. And this time she was upset, and you have that right to feel those emotions, but it didn't ruin her day. And personal development is the key, and it is the limiting belief and the excuses, the bullshit that we tell ourselves. There's that saying that it's the bullshit that you tell yourself. And my confidence has been zapped over the last 2 years. And I have been really digging into books that are building my confidence and helping me. And I want you to understand that I'm normal too, that I saw success very fast. I've done things that I never thought possible. I've done things that other people have not been able to do, but didn't mean that I locked in success, and I'm having to start over again. And the biggest thing is personal development is a big part of your journey, a big part of determining of your success. But don't just pick a book that I'm reading. Don't just pick a book that some other top coach says you should do. Pick one that is going to help you with what you're need to overcome. Like for me, I feel like I need to do stuff that helps me on, there's a lot of great books about network marketing that will help you about, becoming a leader and stuff, but those things don't speak to me. I need something that helps me with my whole life crap, because I got a lot of crap from childhood. And those kind of things I think are great, because you can share that content and add value and have something to talk about to other people, which makes people it's contagious. They want to be near you. And we have like 3 minutes left on this call, but last thing that I wanted to say is that check the resources in the team page. And I like what Ruth was saying, what I've been telling my new coaches is you're not going to know everything. The reason why some of these new coaches have been able to take off and achieve things in a lot faster pace and timeline than myself is because there's so much information there. But it just depends on how you're wired, like she said, and how you are. Because for me, I think I did so well because we didn't have this information and it wasn't overwhelming, because I was one of those people who would have read everything, made sure I had to have everything perfect before I go. There was nothing there. I just had no choice but to just get out there and get shit done. And a lot of things didn't work, and still a lot of things don't work. And that has just been like, well, plan A doesn't work. Well, I've gone all the way to the end of the alphabet a lot of times, but that's what helps. But it just depends on how you're wired, but just make sure that you're getting started and screwing up along the way is what all of the coaches who started this coaching network 7, 8, 9 years ago did. They messed up, they failed forward. And so just get out there instead of stalling and waiting a year or two when you think the conditions are right. I say it's a lot like having a kid. If you wait for every condition to be right, it's never going to be right. We're always going to have new products. There's always going to be somebody out there who knows more, does it better, whatever. And just get out there and get going. I don't know. Somebody's trying to call me from Facebook. Anyways, just get out there and go. I put a lot of resources. I shared in here this coach checklist. If you're a checklist person or somebody, wrong page. If you're a checklist person or I don't know if you can see it. Probably pointless for me to show it. Checklist person. Check here. Team Relentless page. It will help you have something to do, because I'm not a big system person, but I have ADD and it keeps me in check. And there's just tons of resources out there. So whatever it is, just know that I worked hard, really, really hard for 2 years and it paid off, because then I got to sleep in for 2 years and screw off. So, whatever, pick your poison. Like they say in the workout, pick what hard you want. I didn't want to work for the rest of my life staring at unhappy coworkers. I'm counting down to retirement. I worked my ass off for 21 months and I got 4 or 5 hours of sleep, but it was worth it because now I get to live whatever life I want. So just pick whatever's hard you want, but you can do it. So anyways, thank you, Ruth, so much. Thank you everybody for getting on. Next week we have Katrina Scott. And also one last thing, I'm big on recognition. If you give Coach Gabriel Means, Coach Melissa Galmay, Coach Lindsay Sims, Coach Christina Lewis, and Coach Katrina, who's going to be on our call next week, a big shout out, because they're headed out to the new leadership conference and they worked really hard for it. And I think that it's recognition's big. So go ahead and post on their wall or give them a big congrats and tell them to have fun and have a safe trip. So anyways, I'll see you guys next Tuesday for Katrina Scott's call. Have a great week. Let me know if you need anything.